He likes to find a bargain. Vintage or used will do. But if it needs a service, then he will buy new.
It goes without saying, the Rolex Oyster Perpetual has a fantastic history, and one that naturally we should explore. Rolex introduced the world's first self-winding automatic wristwatch almost 100 years ago in 1926, and a British woman named Mercedes Gleitz made history when she swam across the English Channel, wearing none other than the Rolex Oyster around her neck. Here's a quick look back to the past.
Mercedes Gleitz, the first British woman to swim the Channel, the Straits of Gibraltar, all the way around the Isle of Man. She was, in the 20s and 30s, famous, a regular on the newsreels. They even covered her wedding. Her honeymoon, another long-distance swim.
I'm leaving today for Turkey to attend the Hellespont, and I hope to win for England this additional swimming honour.
Very, very nice.
And then she disappeared from public life. Indeed, even her own family only realised quite what she had achieved when they found her archive after she died.
You've got to remember that in those days there were no waterproof nor water-resistant watches. This would have been a really, really big thing that would go down in history. And it did. Wearing the Rolex Oyster around her neck, this historically important and very early waterproof Rolex Oyster wristwatch was worn during her Vindication Channel swim on the 21st of October 1927. The Oyster Precision, reference 34075, was made in 1926. Whilst Gleitz didn't actually record a successful swim whilst wearing the Rolex, the watch itself remained fully functional without water getting inside the Oyster case. Rolex's founder and director, Hans Wilsdorf, celebrated the landmark event with a full-page advertisement on the front of London's Daily Mail, which we opened this video with. The watch was dubbed the Oyster because it was clamped shut like an oyster shell, plus it could also survive whilst underwater. In order for this to happen, Rolex were behind a groundbreaking, innovative solution, which was equipping the watch with a screw-down back, bezel, and a winding crown that Rolex had patented. Screwing the crown would effectively seal the case, making water ingress an old problem, no longer associated with the brand. Mercedes Gleitz had proved that the Oyster design was very capable of surviving in water. Marketing campaigns, such as displaying the Oyster in a fish tank or a bowl for passers-by, highlighted that Rolex was now synonymous with water, impressing whoever saw the highly effective advertisements. If we revisit 2020, some 94 years later, after the original Oyster, Rolex released a number of exceptionally popular Oyster Perpetual models, each with their own coloured dials. In this video, we will focus on the candy pink model. We'll talk about the chromalite display, the fit and finish, and of course the movement. But first, let's take a look at the watch as a whole. I managed to borrow the 36mm Oyster Perpetual reference 126000 in candy pink. This is an exceptionally rare watch. Purchasing a Rolex isn't an easy feat, by the way. You don't just walk in and buy a Rolex. On the contrary, you have to book an appointment with an authorised dealer. Ideally, you require some purchase history and a relationship with the authorised dealer in order to obtain one of these models. Whilst this sounds good in theory, it's a shame because if you want to purchase, say, a 31mm in candy pink at AD pricing, you'll find this an impossible task. With the 31mm version now being discontinued and the second-hand prices are ever increasing due to greedy resellers, and of course flippers who inflate the cost of these watches on the secondary market, pricing it far beyond what Rolex intended the price to be. But let's stay positive. The watch is just as nice in person as you'd expect, although with my 7.25 inch wrist, I don't think I could get away with a 36mm. For me, a 36mm wears just a little bit too small. For reference, a 41mm is much more suitable for me, and in these photos, you can see how a 36mm Datejust wears on me versus the 41mm green Oyster Perpetual from the same collection in 2020. But with plenty of sizes to choose from in the range, you should find something that you prefer. Although at the time of recording, Candy Pink is only available in 36mm, and since many ADs are no longer accepting expressions of interest for it, it's a sign that it's likely going to be discontinued, along with the coral red, turquoise blue and the yellow colours. Each of these models are gifted with Rolex's Chromolite, which is the luminescence on the hour, minute and 5-minute markers on the dial. It's advertised to last up to about 8 hours. The baton markers, along with the 3 hands and the crown, are made of 18-carat white gold on this model, and the movement sweeps around the dial vibrating at 8 beats per second, resulting in 28,800 beats per hour, which gives a slightly smoother sweep than movements that beat, say, 6 times per second. The 3230 movement has a generous power reserve of 70 hours, and it boasts anti-magnetic resistance due to the blue parachrome hairspring. Service intervals are said to be about 10 years, but depending on how much you wear the watch, your mileage may vary. The movement should provide accuracy of plus or minus 2 seconds per day, which makes it one of the most accurate automatic movements around. The video you're now looking at shows a G-Shock that was earlier set to atomic time, and you'll notice that the Candy Pink Oyster Perpetual is keeping within about 1 second of it. That's after 2 days of being set. Pretty impressive. The watch is built using 904L stainless steel, which is known for being a higher quality stainless steel with properties such as corrosion resistance, and it can allegedly handle higher heat and stress than a regular 316L stainless steel. The movement has hacking and hand winding and cannot be overwound. The watch is waterproof. Yes, waterproof, not water resistant, but waterproof to 100 meters, and the crown has a line underneath the crown logo, which shows that the watch has the coveted twin lock system. This means that there's a sealed zone both inside the tube and inside the crown. Personally, I think this is an incredible watch. If you can get this at AD pricing, it's incredible, but guys, it's probably not going to be available through an AD much longer. I personally suspect this watch, and perhaps many others in the coloured releases in 2020, are going to be discontinued. There are, however, some funky new watches available, and who knows, maybe we'll cover them on the channel in future. But for now, thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Take care, guys. Bye-bye.